Ubuntu 24.04 LTS versus Linux Mint 22.3 LTS. Long-term support deep dive. Struggling to pick between Ubuntu LTS and Linux Mint LTS for a long-term install? Today we cut through the marketing noise, update cycles, kernel strategy, package longevity, security, and reveal which distro gives you the most durable foundation for years to come. Quick explainer: what LTS actually means. LTS stands for long-term support. In practical terms, an LTS release gets a predictable window of security updates and bug fixes, so you can install once and expect years of maintenance without chasing frequent upgrades. For Ubuntu, Canonical publishes LTS releases on a 2-year cadence with a 5-year standard maintenance window plus optional extended security (ESM) for much longer coverage. Release and support timelines. Ubuntu 24.04 LTS Noble Numbat follows Canonical's LTS schedule. 5 years of standard security maintenance and additional ESM options extend critical coverage for many more years for organizations that opt in. Linux Mint 22.3 Zena is built on the Ubuntu 22.04 LTS package base and follows that base's standard support lifecycle. Mint's own policy is to track the Ubuntu base for updates. Once the Ubuntu release reaches its end of life, Mint considers that release EOL as well, though users can individually subscribe to Ubuntu Pro ESM for some packages. In short, Mint's LTS longevity is tightly coupled to the Ubuntu base it's built on. Kernel and hardware enablement. How they keep things current. Ubuntu's HWE, hardware enablement, stack is explicit. Point releases 24.04.123. Refresh the install image with newer kernels and drivers backported from interim releases so installers get better out-of-box hardware support over the life of the LTS. For example, the 24.04 point release updated the HWE kernel to a newer 6.x series to improve support for recent CPUs and GPUs. Linux Mint 22.3 also ships with an HWE kernel when needed. Mint has shipped newer HWE kernels like 6.14 to improve support for modern AMD Intel hardware. Because Mint is downstream, they selectively include kernels and drivers to balance modern hardware support with Cinnamon Mate XFCE desktop stability. Takeaway: Ubuntu provides a formal, documented HWE path that's predictable for enterprises and frequent installers. Mint uses HWE too, but emphasizes desktop stability and tested compatibility with its chosen desktop environments. Update mechanisms and security patches. Ubuntu's mainstream toolchain is apt. Canonical also pushes Snap for some apps. Firefox is distributed as a Snap by default on Ubuntu. Snap's auto-update in the background on a regular cadence. Canonical's infrastructure also offers paid opt-in services, Ubuntu Pro, for extended support and security scanning. Linux Mint deliberately blocks automatic snapped installation by default and prefers more traditional dev workflows plus Flatpak FlatHub for sandboxed apps. Mint's update manager and community repositories are tuned for desktop users who want fewer surprise changes and prefer classic package management. Practical effect: Ubuntu's model pushes some modern packaging, snaps, and automated updates that benefit security and consistency at the cost of a different update UX. Mint keeps a conservative desktop-first update experience and chooses Flatpak when sandboxing is needed. Software availability and package longevity. Repositories and packaging. Both distros give you the huge Ubuntu package ecosystem, PPAs, and third-party repos. Ubuntu is more likely to ship certain apps as snaps and integrates Snap Store experiences. Mint emphasizes classic apt and Flatpak. Longevity questions. Because Mint is downstream of Ubuntu, long-term availability for core packages is tied to the Ubuntu base. Mint will not indefinitely backport Ubuntu's ESM coverage into Mint's own repositories. ESM remains an Ubuntu canonical offering. If you need guaranteed 10 plus years of vendor-grade coverage, Canonical's paid extended support is the route. Community support and documentation. Ubuntu, large official docs, Canonical knowledge base, and enterprise support options. Great for corporate deployments and standardized operations. Linux Mint, friendly community forums, and desktop-focused documentation. Excellent for home users who want quick desktop help and curated defaults. Verdict: which LTS is best for you? Pick Ubuntu 24.04 LTS if you are deploying servers or desktops that need a predictable vendor support path and possible extended maintenance. ESM Ubuntu Pro. Wanting the most up-to-date hardware support via Canonical's HWE plan and are comfortable with snaps and Canonical's update model. Pick Linux Mint 22.3 LTS if you are a desktop user who values a polished, conservative desktop experience, cinnamon-made XFCE, and fewer platform decisions push to you, no automatic snap installs. You want an OS that's ready for day-to-day work with comfortable defaults and community-centered support. When to worry? If you need 5 years of vendor-backed security updates for every package and binary, plan for Ubuntu's ESM or a paid support path. If you're a desktop user who wants to avoid vendor services entirely but still needs patching after upstream EOL, be prepared to migrate to a newer base or opt into Ubuntu Pro for certain ESM packages. Closing. Both choices are excellent. Ubuntu gives the clearest path for enterprise-grade life cycles and extended maintenance, Mint packages that stability into a friendlier desktop. Tell me, what matters most for your LTS install, enterprise support, the clean desktop experience, or the latest hardware drivers? Drop it in the comments and I'll respond.